Cold start. Oh yeah. All right. What's up, you guys? Pretty excited today. Getting a new part in the mail for the big POS LB7. Last thing I tried replacing on this was the fuel pressure regulator, and I actually ended up getting a bunk Chinese knockoff and had to put the old one back. But now I ordered a LBZ cp3, a used one, which may not have been the best idea, but that goes with the overall theme of this truck. But yeah, so I think the cp3 was the main weakness of this since I got it used. So I'm gonna be installing that today. Probably might take a day or two, maybe a few days, and hopefully that will get this thing running right. So stick around and we'll see how much of a pain it is to change one of those. So I got a lot of it torn apart, as you can see. I did basically the stuff I know that needs to get out of the way. Last week I changed the fuel pressure regulator, so I did most of the stuff you have to do to get to that, which basically involves simple stuff like removing the belt and stuff like that to get the thermostat housing off. And then so I also unplugged basically the driver's side harness on top. I was able to get it. There was some stuff that was tough, basically involving the glow plugs, like the module back there. You got to unplug some stuff and make sure you take pictures, so when you put it back, you put all of the little eyelets on the right posts. There's 3 of them. I'm probably going to be watching the videos myself that I took just to make sure I put them back. That messed me up when I did the injectors on this truck too, so that's important. There's a little glow plug wire that goes down that actually runs to the rail on the side of the motor for the actual plugs. And there's just a lot of so there's a lot of plugs in here. I like to put tape around them, and I know this is an injector pigtail, but maybe some stuff that I'm not familiar with, I like to put tape around and write what it is, so that when I go to put this back, it doesn't take too much time. I can just plug it right back in and go. So now I'm at the point where I need to get rid of these this junction here for all the fuel lines. I need to do a little bit of research. I'm pretty sure this whole thing has to come up, because what I've seen is that after that the Y bridge has to come up also, and then I guess you'll have enough room to pull the CP3 out under here. So I'm gonna just unbolt these. I might have to take some of these fittings off because they are hard lines. I don't want to at all, so hopefully I don't have to take too much stuff off, but I guess it is what it is.
But it's not a pair that you would find normally. If you found that pair, you'd be like, this fucking pair that's shaped like a ball.
So these differences in measurements are...
Another update. Been pressing on as much as I can. Let's see. So I'm really working at that junction block, taking these fuel lines off. I found out I need to take this one, that one, and that one, and then and this one here, following it with the flashlight, that goes back behind, dips down. There's just a fitting back there, so I'm gonna unbolt that one, and then there's a little clamperoonie right here. Unclamp that, and that will be enough, I think, because this hard line will pick up and get out of the way of the Y bridge. And this one you think you need, well, you already got it here, so that will remove the junction block. And besides that, yeah, like this fed to the passenger side rail, got to get rid of that. This fed to the CP3 right here, got rid of that. I probably should buy new lines because they're all, the ones I'm removing are all rusty, as you can clearly see. They tell you to do that with when you do new injectors, which I did, and everything worked out great. So probably order some of that stuff today. And here's the nasty old pump right here. Can't really tell, it just looks all like metal and hoses and stuff, but this is it right there. So yeah, this is, yeah, just like anything with these diesel trucks, it's moving a lot of stuff around to do like 15 minutes of pulling a part out and putting it back, and then the real trick is gonna be wrapping everything back up and putting it back in here. But I guess that's the name of the game. These LB7s have like so much junk all over them, it's like ridiculous. It's definitely not as easy as working on something like a simple little 4-cylinder or something, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it'll be too bad. So that's where I'm at right now, and just gonna keep pressing forward. Another quick update, got the junction block off. Just like I was saying, there's a fitting that runs back there. That's all I had to take off, plus the clamp. Undo that, and if you're doing this, don't forget there's a little band that holds the part of the block onto the bridge. Undo that one, and then it was able to, where did I put it? Okay, yeah, it's right here. I was able to pull off because of these feed and return lines are flexible, so you're able to just move it out of the way. So next is the Y bridge, which I just took a 10mm socket, an extension, and a swivel right here, and that was enough to get all 4 of them. They broke loose real easy, which same as the fitting back there for the fuel lines. That one broke easy, which if bolts break easy on this truck, this thing was in New Hampshire for its whole life, so you'll probably have an easy time with yours, because it doesn't get much rustier than up there. So I'm gonna remove these now, and then I'm thinking I've never done this before, but after this is out of the way, from other videos and forums that I saw, there's a couple bolts down here, and I should be able to back it out. So we'll see. Another update. got the Y bridge out. That was pretty straightforward. And now I'm attempting to get to the actual cp3 bolts. They are in the front of the motor. So to get access to everything in the front here, what I'm doing is there's a pulley that normally goes right here. Took that out. It was just a 14 millimeter bolt. Simple enough, just to get a little bit more room. Just one bolt pulled right out. And so, oh, another quick tip. I took off the oil filler neck. So now I'm going to attempt to actually remove the cp3 by getting the 4 bolts on the front. Okay, I actually have the cp3 removed. It's not out of the truck yet, but it's finally disassembled, or whatever word you would use to say it's off, unbolted from the truck. It was a little bit, just like everything with this truck, it's a little bit tougher than I thought at first. So anyway, that was removed. Even with the bolts, all the bolts removed, it was, I'm not sure that this was ever taken apart before, or I'm not sure the cp3 was ever taken out, so it was wedged in there pretty good. You got to be real careful though, because when I was first cranking on it to try and pop it out, I didn't have all the bolts off. So you have to be 100% sure. There's a little O-ring on right before the gear when it sandwiches up on the block that holds it in place, I guess. But yeah, definitely just make sure you have all the bolts off. And I actually got underneath it with a hammer, and then on top I had a pry bar on the, I mean, I'm sure you'll figure out your own way, but I had a pry bar on this AC bracket here. I started right on top here, but this thermostat housing is aluminum, so you don't want to crank on that too hard. I was afraid that would crack, and then I'd have much bigger problems. So just gotta be careful, take your time. Mine fought me a little bit, but this truck is got a lot of miles. It's really old, so just keep that in mind. And before you go wailing on anything and break something, just make sure you have all the right bolts out. So now I'm going to try and get this out of here and get the new one in. CP3's out, so now all I got to do is get the new one and throw it in. I had to take off, to get a lot of, you'll look on forums and stuff and people say what you do and don't need to take off. For me, I don't know how anyone else could do it, but I did take these studs off, and there was just a little 6 millimeter Allen on this low pressure fuel fitting right here. I did those vinyl hoses to see if I was having bubbles, because I was having trouble with the fuel pressure on this thing. So anyway, this is all low pressure stuff. There's just a 6 millimeter hex socket, bolt, whatever, right here. Slid that up. I took the studs off of the runners like this. It was pretty simple. Obviously, since you take the Y pipe out, you have the hardware. So I just sandwiched them together and cranked them tight, and then used the top to back it out, kind of like it's like a bolt. And then I had plenty of room. I tried for a while without doing that, but I figured, you know, if I'm going this far and taking junk off, I might as well, why fight it? So yeah, I did that, and then this came out pretty easy, relative to the rest of the job at least. So next I just gotta get the other pump and throw it in there. The old CP3 is out, and now this is the new CP3 I just got in the mail the other day. Took a little longer than expected, but finally here. This is the second one actually I ordered. It's a long story, but this is a LBZ pump, and this is the old one. This is an LB7. So it should switch right over from what I read online. I guess you guys will find out real quick if it doesn't. But the only thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch the old regulator from the old pump onto the new pump, because I know this regulator is good. And you can keep the LBZ regulator, but you have to have EFI Live, and you have to have someone tune the ECU for it to be compatible with the LBZ regulator. If you don't have EFI Live like me, and you just want to put it in the truck and run, the LB7 regulator will work on the LBZ pump. So yeah, now just gotta put this back in the truck, put everything back that I ripped out, and yeah, we'll try to get this thing started and see if it fixes it. Okay, so we did the first start. The truck runs well. I just wanted to see what kind of pressure I'm getting now. Before I was getting about 2,500 pounds at idle. Wow, look it! Dead on. Alright, that was it. Alright, hey guys, just wanted to make a little update video. Got the CP3 in the truck, and some of the lines are actually leaking now. I don't know if it's just because I didn't torque them down enough, or perhaps they're just so old and corroded that they might need to be replaced or something. So I'm going to tear the top of this back apart. I'm going to take the radiator hose off and whatever I need to do to get back to the junction block down here and tighten everything up, and then once I get all the fuel leaks gone, I'm gonna take this thing for a ride and kind of do like a little test drive with the new pump in it. But I drove it a little bit yesterday. That's how I found out that it was leaking, and it feels fantastic. It finally feels like a normal. It just drives like a normal car now. Like before, it was a total slug. So I think that was the main issue. So anyway, yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about perhaps if you're doing this yourself and you want to know anything I did that I wasn't clear on the video, just leave a question or a comment or anything in the comment section, and yeah, I'll do my best to try to help you with all the experiences that I gained doing this myself. It's not too bad, really. Just look up a couple forums, how-tos and stuff like that, and you know, hopefully you have a garage or something. But besides that, it's pretty straightforward, just nuts and bolts. So yeah, thanks for watching, and see you on the next video.